Here's a great way you can get a cleaner, fuller sound out of your chords, regardless of how simple or complex they might be. The idea is that once you've found a few chords to use for your progression, instead of playing them in the usual way you would, like this, you can actually break these down further into smaller pieces and then combine everything together, giving you a more unique sound. So let's break this down step by step. Originally, as you heard, I started with this simple 2-chord progression, the first being a G major 7 and the second a D major 7. Here's how this technique works. You take the individual notes that make up a chord and then find different ways to play smaller sections of the entire chord, layering these together. The possibilities of what you can come up with are really endless, and by applying a few harmonic or textural devices, you can have fun experimenting for days. In my case, I started by replacing the lower portion of the chord first. As you can see here, the G major 7 is made up of a 1st, 5th, major 7th and 3rd. One simple way to start this process is to take away the higher portion of the chord, leaving you with a power chord. However, I wanted to play more with the voicings first. I ended up keeping the root notes in the same register, but instead of playing a 5th, I chose a 3rd, which is a B in this case, and inverted it an octave lower, playing it on the 9th fret of the D string, instead of the 12th fret of the B string, where it originally was in my starting chord. Personally, I really like the sound of 3rds played on the thicker strings of a guitar. And this is then repeated for the D major chord too, playing the 5th fret on the A string and the 4th fret on the D string. I double tracked this part, giving me 2 lower rhythm guitars to start with, which sounds like this. After this, I wanted to add a bit more texture and colour to these simple 3rds. I chose to use octaves as they helped keep my guitar sounding focused and clean, while also adding back in some of that harmonic content I'd lost by simplifying the rhythm guitars. To do this, I'm again pulling notes straight from those full chords. But the trick here is that you can start to play about with pitch, mixing in lower or higher octaves that didn't previously exist in the original chords. For the G major 7, I'm starting on this lower D octave. In this case, I've taken the 5th note from the G major 7 chord, the D note that was originally played on the 12th fret of the D string, and now I'm playing it as an octave lower, starting on the 5th fret of the A string. As for the D major 7, I chose to pull out the 3rd from this, an F sharp, and play it as an octave, starting on the 9th fret of the A string. A nice little trick that's happening here is that while the rhythm guitars are descending in pitch, the octaves are ascending, so you get a nice contrast between the two, while they're both still playing notes that belong to each of the previous full chords. I also slightly bent the F sharp octave that plays over the D major 7 just to add a little flair to the part. Here are the octave tracks on their own. Here they are, coupled with the previous 2 rhythm tracks. Lastly, I really wanted to add more colour to these parts, like the original chords have, which meant I needed to find a way of highlighting the most colourful notes that make up these chords, mostly the 7ths, which define their unique sound. To do this, I ended up mostly using double stops for these final lead parts. If you don't know what that is, double stops are when you play 2 notes on a stringed instrument. Looking back at my starting chord, if I remove the 1st and 5th note, I'm left with the 7th and 3rd, and I can easily play this as a double stop. For the second chord, if I were to play the D major 7, starting on the low E string, you can see how I can do the same technique, removing the lowest 2 notes and leaving another double stop, which in this case uses a 3rd and 5th from the D major 7 chord. These together create a really simple and easy to play lead part that I can layer underneath everything else. I also added one small change that happens during the second and fourth repeat of the chord progression. Instead of playing this shape for the D major 7, I moved one of the notes up 4 frets to the C sharp, which is the major 7th note in the D major 7 chord. But since this shape on its own really just forms a basic power chord, I wanted to add a little more dissonance, so I included the D note on the 12th fret of the D string, which is a root note taken from my D major 7 chord, but played an octave above, giving me this partial D major 7 chord. This is the lead guitars in isolation. And then here are all those parts combined, which make up a total of 6 tracks, 3 individual parts, each doubled and panned out wide. Altogether, that can be a great method for expanding on the sound of your chords when you don't have much else going on in a song. It's not to say it's any better than simply playing the chords as is, it's just another technique you can use if you want a different sound or if you're unhappy with your current one. So here's a final comparison between the original chords played like usual versus the method of deconstructing and then layering different parts together. If you're a big fan of that cleaner chord sound, there's a great technique used by countless emo and math rock bands to achieve a similar tone. If you'd like to learn all about that, then check out this video next.